Hey, how's it going everyone? Jake here, and isn't this a beautiful table spread? It just brings joy to my eyes just to look at it. It's absolutely beautiful because we have a wonderful video for y'all today. I am going to show you how I send in cards for grading and how exactly the card grading system work. All companies do it a little bit differently. We're of course sending our cards into PSA because they opened up their doors recently. I couldn't send any cards in 2020 so far because of course COVID happened and all that. So they reopened their doors and now it's possible for us to send in some cards for grading. And not only that, but they're offering a special on Pokemon card grading, which is why we're going to try to send in as many of Pokemon cards as possible. Currently, it costs $7.50 to grade a card. That is very cheap compared to their regular price of $10 to grade a card, which is, $10. It really does add up. So every little bit of discount helps. We're definitely going to try to send in as many cards as we can. And I estimated the value on this table at around $8,000 just by a quick eyeballing it. We have about $4,000 in sealed Pokemon packs. Each one of the base set packs is probably worth around $200. The Japanese base packs are worth around $100. So lots of values in those. We have, of course, the Pikachu promos. I love myself some Pikachu promos, and they always have done well for me. So gonna keep on grading them if I can. We also have a ton of Hidden Fates cards. Hidden Fates just done really well. So we have tons of Hidden Fates cards that we're gonna probably try to send in for grading. This Lucario, of course, I pulled from a pack myself on video. Great stuff. We also have lots of the Stained Glass Bird Trio. I love this card. It's so vibrant, beautiful card. One of the most unique Pokemon art that they've released in English that's actually really great looking. And I think this card's actually going to go up in value quite a bit because it only comes in a Hidden Fates Elite Trainer box, and no one's opening those anymore because you really can't. An Elite Trainer box for Hidden Fates costs like $150 or more, so no one's going to be opening up one of those just to pull this card, which is why I think the value can only really go up from there. It's not a part of the Hidden Fates reprint, which is really, really important. So there's no more of them out there. Great value. We also have a lot of the Charizard Gx from Hidden Fates, a large stack of them, as well as some really vintage Pokemon cards from 1996. And of course, we have our sports card over here, which is mainly made up of Kobe Bryant rookie cards. Interesting thing about Kobe Bryant, his rookie year was the same year Pokemon released, 1996. Holds a special place in my heart, so I collected some of his rookie cards. I spent like 40 or 50 bucks on these rookies, and they're worth over $100 right now ungraded, which is really nice. But the real kicker is if we can get one of the Kobe Bryant rookies to be in PSA 10. If any of these cards are PSA 10, it's over $1,000. A PSA 10 Kobe Bryant 1996 rookie card is going for over $1,000. Ungraded, 100 bucks, maybe 200 if you're lucky. But yeah, people really want a nice PSA 10 version of that card. So here's hoping. Before I send in my cards to get graded, I always try to do my best to audit them first, judge them, make sure that they're as immaculate as possible. If I see any flaws in the card, I might not send it in to get graded because if I see the flaws, they're definitely going to see the flaws. And there's no reason to get, PSA 7s or below because at that point, it's not really worth it to get the card graded. It's probably worth less by having it graded than not. So what I have to do is I check the cards myself, and pretty much how most card grading companies work is they grade cards based on how well centered it is. Are there any damages on the edges and corners? As well, are there any scratches on the surface of the cards? Those are the three things they check. The first one to check is always how well centered it is because that is the most visible thing to check. I always start from the back of a Pokemon card because that's just easier. You can just see how well centered a Pokemon card is on the back because it has such a nice defining feature of the edges. You have a nice little border. And of course, this Lucario is pretty darn well centered. I don't see any major flaws with it on the back. And then the very next thing you can check for is any damages around the edges and corners. Any damages around the corners of Pokemon cards is usually called whitening. That's the most common damage you're ever going to see. And that's pretty much where the outer layer of the Pokemon card is no longer there. It's fallen off, it's scratched off, it went away. And what you can see is the white cardboard beneath. And that's pretty much your damage. It's very straightforward and easy to spot in Pokemon cards. I think Pokemon cards are some of the easier ones to judge just because of the nice design feature. You can see damages very easily. And in general, this card, I don't see any whitening around the edges. It's about as nice as it can get. Maybe like a little bit of whitening right there, but that's not enough for me to worry about. Pretty much immaculate. And if all else looks great, the last thing I check is any scratches on the card. And some cards, you're gonna have scratches. Even if you breathe on them, you get a scratch on them. But pretty much Hidden Fates does very well. Hidden Fates is some of the easiest cards to get graded because it was just a great print run. They did pretty much everything well, which is very rare for English cards where everything went well. And Hidden Fates is a great example of that. If you ever want to grade Pokemon cards, might as well start with Hidden Fates because you probably have some. Everyone open them. And they're great. If you have any of the evolutions, if you have Lucario, you've got Greninja, you've got Charizard Gx, any of the shiny vault cards can probably bring you some serious value if you have them graded. So yeah, pretty much I check. Last thing is for any scratches on the surface at all. I'm just going to shine it along the light and make sure I don't see any damages at all. And I don't expect any because I did open this from a pack myself. Looks really, really nice. Lovely card. Absolutely beautiful. Then the next thing I do is I put it inside of a soft sleeve. These are actually called penny sleeves because they literally cost a penny. You could buy 100 for $1. That's how you do math. And then the last thing you want to do is you want to put it inside of a Card Saver hard sleeve. You have to use Card Saver. PSA does not take any other companies besides a Card Saver. So it has to be done in these, and they're a little bit tricky to get into. The Card Saver sleeves can fit Pokemon cards a little bit too snugly, so you definitely want to put your fingers in there and kind of spread it out beforehand. Just make sure that the gaps are large enough for your Pokemon cards because you don't want to shove them in there. It's just going to damage the cards. And once you're ready, you just got to push it in nice and slow. Don't really force it in until it's in there nice and snug. There you go. Easy peasy. Alright, so this Lucario GX is ready to be sent in for grading. PSA is currently very behind on their grading services. It's probably going to take 4 or 5 months for me to even see this card again. It is what it is. They're about 1 million cards behind in their grading service, but with the current situation, we just have to live with it. Some other cards that I'm going to send in for grading include some of the Hidden Fates promos. I think they are really nice, and not a lot of people are sending them in because I guess they're just a little bit too more abundant, but it's really cool. Rayquaza is one that I definitely want to get graded. Have a couple of this card. Definitely want a PSA 10 version of this card. It's the shiny version as well, and shiny Rayquaza can fetch a really nice price. I think the Gold Star Rayquaza just sold at auction for well over $15,000. Of course, that one is, 20 years old, but here's hoping. We have some other ones, including Lucario Gx and Lunala Gx. These are gold cards, which is very rare in Pokemon. We don't see a lot of gold cards, so it's just a really nice pair. Definitely want to have some of those graded, as well as some of the Charizard Gx cards and some of the Pikachu promos. Love getting the Pikachu promos graded. Those are very cool. Then of course we have some of our more recent purchase, including the Retro 1996 Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise. If you open one of the original Japanese base pack from 1996, you might just pull this card. So very cool that this card might literally be in this pack. Some of the other cards we are also sending in to get graded, of course, the Shibuya Pikachu, really nice card. and some of the Easter Pikachu, as well as finally a bunch of the Bird Trio. Really nice cards, love these. You can't open any more Elite Trainer boxes, so the value is only up from here for these. And finally, of course, we're sending in a lot of our base set booster packs for grading. I'm not too familiar with authentication on the booster packs. I hope they do a good job on them. You can see right here, this is 2 packs, and they look fairly different. The one on the left is definitely a darker color, and the font is a little bit different as well, so it's worrying. But as I understand it, Pokemon had tons of printing errors back in the 1999 to 2000. It was just a period of time when they were pretty much printing Pokemon cards from all different facilities, and there were tons of printing errors. They weren't too worried about the cards being perfect. They just want to get these cards out there because everyone wanted them. So Pokemon was printing cards from tons of different facilities, and they were not the best quality cards at all. Times have really changed. The cards have gotten better, but back in those days, you saw tons of different errors. I purchased most of these packs for under $100, and now I value these packs at right around $200 a pack. So without even grading them, we've already made a ton of value on this investment, which is really nice. When these cards are graded, their value will probably be worth around $300 to $400, which is great because then I don't have to purchase graded version for $400. It's just money saving rather than anything, because I don't really plan on selling most of these. Some of these I'll put on display. Some of them I will gift to other collectors, friends and family. There are people that I know that would love to have these graded. So, and pretty much the rest I'll keep in my own personal collection to enjoy for years to come. So lots of beautiful cards. Can't wait to have them graded. Alright guys, that's the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Are you guys going to send in any cards to get graded? Because now is about as cheap of a price on card grading as it gets. You're not going to find a better price than this for the next year or so. So pretty much a great value. I'm probably going to send in well over 100 cards to get graded and just see how well I do. Hope you guys stick around because we're going to get these returned to us in probably 4 to 5 months, and I would love to see how much value we made on these. We might even lose some value, and that's all right. Just a part of the learning experience. I enjoy sharing this content with you guys. So let me know down in the comments if you have any other questions, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.